only had one thing that I could say to God, that would be, please show me the way. Show me the way.
Thank you, Spirit, for bringing us together in such a beautiful circle. Thank you for being able to share and to sing and come together. What a grace. Thank you for the songs flowing through us, for the beautiful voices flowing together. May the love and light that we can share together radiate to all beings, to all children, all kingdoms who need a touch of heart.
Take me down to the river, let my body go. Take me up to the mountains, watch the wind catch my soul. Take me down to the river, let my body go. Take me up to the mountains, watch the wind catch my soul. Take me down to the river, let my body go. Take me up to the mountains, watch the wind catch my soul.
Everything in our society, the way our society is formed, keeps people apart and separate.
That's what the problem is. See, we've had this separation thing, you know, and we all think that we're like individuals and stuff, and we forget the fact that like we're all one.
And you meet me, and he meets me, and he's a Touchstone, and Touchstone is a philosophically, spiritually, ethically advanced group of people.
I love living here. This is my favorite home so far on one of my favorite homes on the earth plane.
It feels like going home to go over there.
But Touchstone is more than a place. It's really much more of a state of mind, and knowing that it's there is really significant to the valley.
Oh, just a very memorial time, that's for sure. A lot of lessons learned here at Touchstone. Almost like a sanctuary, you know, in the middle of suburbia.
Touchstone itself is a circle, you know, with all the different people that are directly involved in doing all the different things they do, from their recording studio to their dances to the massage to the flowers. And then there's all the people that connect with Touchstone in so many different ways and participating in those different things, and who connect with others and connect with who connect in some ways. And it's just, Touchstone is like the center when you throw a pebble into a pond and it ripples out and it causes all these ripples, and that's Touchstone. I'll have to think about that. Is Touchstone the pebble, or is Touchstone the water, or is Touchstone the ripples? I don't know.
The Touchstone is not really a commune or even not even community, huh? It is more like a center, like an educational center.
Yeah, and it's somewhat of a mix with the community. Right? You know, there's a small residence.
Yeah. And it's a shared household.
It's a community of hermits who happen to like people.
Right.
I just have a way.
It's pretty good, huh?
You know, one of the things that was a big thing for me is that everyone would sing together. You'd be out in the field and just some song and just everyone would just start singing.
Well, Shaker, when he was in his early 20s, he left everything behind and moved into the woods and just lived from the wild.
I do in the farm here. I maintain sacred space. I hold the safety in the place. I try to open it so that when people come, or when plants come, there's a place for them. And they can grow in harmony with plants that are different than themselves, or like themselves, or people that are different than themselves, or like themselves. And I try to nurture the people, the plants, in such a way that they come to their fullest potential.
Then the weeds called him back, the dandelion and all the local weeds here. And so he returned, and then he met his wife. They really wanted to start an organic farm.
We bought this place in the summer of '86. I was carrying on the householder phase, and to carry on the householder phase, I returned to farming.
Originally, it was just an organic farm, one of the first organic farms in the valley. They had 10 farmers markets a week: Springfield, Berkshires, Amherst, Northampton.
As a commercial organic farmer, I was simply a factory. I really wasn't living the correct lifestyle. That's when I began to create these gardens. Came out and started to dig the pool and draw the circles and spirals and open my life to sacred space, to the mystery.
Shaker opened up the place more towards the center, and they renovated one of the barns, the old barns, and started a circle dance once a week.
That's what I was doing the night that the 5 Bear showed up when we began to transition. Then I went out into the medicine wheel alone. After about 3 minutes, I heard a big noise behind me. The next morning, the woman who lives next door said, "Did you see those 5 black bear out there last night? You know, that's the first bear I've seen down here in 35 years. They've been down here ever since."
We belong to the earth. We belong to the earth.
So that was quite an interesting beginning to the transition of when we opened from being a commercial farm into being a place of sacred space and mystery. Anya arrived with one green dress she was wearing. She'd gotten out of the rubbish somewhere, and a backpack and a guitar.
Yeah, here I pick up some plants for a salad, for a wild salad that we eat today all together. I'm Anya, and I was born in Germany in a small village, and I'd never been here. I didn't know anyone in America. I met a woman, and she's living here, and she invited me to this place. This woman said, "Anya, I just walked through the gardens at Touchstone, and the devas, the plant spirits, said to me, "Bring that girl Anya here. She needs to come here. Bring that girl here." It was a full moon night, and I arrived here on the farm.
10 years later, she and I co-direct Touchstone, and we co-own it.
Anya will explain the dance and then show you how it's done, but when she shows you, she communicates the sacredness of the dance. And when it goes beyond language, it's connecting you to the universe.
When I was 11, I said to my parents, I would love to go away from everything and just see something different and go to a place where I can sleep in hay. So they told me about this commune that had just opened up. So that was kind of my first opening to another way of life.
The illusions that we live in the modern society so much, that's not the real world. The real world is really the world of our dreams.
And when I was 18, I took all my things and I gave them away. Took my guitar and my backpack and left. And that's where my journey started for the next 6 years. Traveling, mostly hitchhiking through Europe.
In modern physics, we now know that dream and stone are really comprised of the very same substance. And living in this world where dream and stone are comprised and emanate from the same substance, that's the real world.
I'm always amazed that I'm not encountering her flying through the treetops.
And she's free, like an animal in the woods. She does what she wants.
Their fear doesn't necessarily consume them the way it does with other people. You hang out with either one of them and you go, okay, these are not just what you would consider normal people. They're abnormal, I would say in a really good way. They're more alive.
It's a play between the people who listen and me, or the spirit. I don't even feel it's me who sings. It's again that spirit that moves through all things.
We really don't have a philosophy at Touchstone. To me, a spiritual path is not what you believe, it's the depth to which you ask your question. The answer is almost irrelevant. We get the name Touchstone because the touchstone is mythically that which, when you stand in the presence of, it proves the falsehood or verity of yourself, or that which you're involved with. We're always exploring the verity or falsehood of our way of life.
It's mostly Shaker and myself who work here full time. The other people who live here, they pay rent to be here. But the people who live here have jobs.
So some people who come here will charge them to be here, and they need to be in their bodies. They need to be occupied. Other people come here, and they walk down the driveway with no penny in their pocket, and yet they need retreat.
It was kind of surrounded by suburbia, right?
Yes.
It was
haven in the middle of suburbia.
It was really odd, in fact. I remember going there the first time, and it was sort of driving around, and I was like, it can't be here. And then you see the sign, and you kind of wander through, and suddenly it's like a little bit like a Wild West feel. Things are a little overgrown. I did feel right at home, somehow.
We're no longer attached to place, to the uniqueness of place. When you drive by a strip mall or on an interstate, everything looks the same. So Touchstone provides that for people. It is a unique place, and it provides them with a focal point for an attachment to place and to area.
And when I came here to Touchstone, I wanted to live in the woods, and I was disappointed that this is in the suburbs. Shaker actually really helped me, and he showed me it's not about just living away from all of it, to find a balance. To find a balance between the two worlds. You can eat these. It's actually better to eat the leaves because the flowers, it's better to leave them because they will self-sow. We grow herbs, we dry them for teas, then we dig up roots and make tinctures, and make oils, and those we sell at the farmer's market. We always love to eat the weeds. I feel that they actually have more to give than even all the other vegetables.
The front acre we've established by spreading seeds from weeds, those weeds we desire. So the front field is really an acre of food, medicine, and flowers. I try not to mow the lawn until the dandelions go to seed so we can keep a good crop of dandelions.
On Touchstone, the theme is that there's been so many people coming through, and Touchstone's been a lot of a haven for, I think, a lot of people. I know in my time, 2 years there, but they were such deep, impressionable times in my life.
Touchstone is one of the more recent of the intentional communities that I've been involved with. The spirit is precisely what distinguishes them from merely a collective rental agreement. It's a voluntary family setting, you might say.
Most people are single. Most of the people who live here are not in a relationship. People live like monks here and nuns.
I think that harmonious communities have a very vital role to play in our fragmented society today.
This is our dancing barn. Here we have, every Friday and Saturday night, we have circle dance. And the steps are very often simple. 4 steps forward, right, left. And every dance is taught. We draw from all different traditions.
In the Neolithic and the early Bronze Age, the circle dance was carried on as a way of keeping sacred time, is what they called it.
The steps of one of my favorite dances were found on a vase from 1400 BC.
To have this sense of connectedness to the past, to all the people who danced this way before. Same movement, same pattern. In 1990, there were enough people interested in the sacred circle dance here in the States. We had workshops in the Hadley barn. I think that may be where I actually met Shaker. Several of us, including Shaker and myself, inaugurated the very first week-long circle dance camp in the United States. There are now probably 1,000 groups around the world holding sacred circle dance events.
We have been traveling and teaching circle dance to different communities. We traveled all over the United States, parts of Canada. We went to Costa Rica. We went to Europe, taught in Ireland, did a week-long sacred dance workshop.
We are all ready to dive in all together. Here we go. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of thy eyes.
dance has always been sacred to me. I went to a circle dance, and when I walked in the door and saw people dancing, I knew I'd found a medium.
I think maybe in the dance is as close as I ever get to a feeling of transcendence.
It's blissful, it's losing yourself in the moment. But for me, beyond those, it's connecting.
It has a wide vocabulary. There's anger, bitterness, joy, silliness. It's a very wide vocabulary of movement.
For me, the dance is just like prayer. It's very hard to put into words. It's more a way of life. The dance goes into my life. Everything becomes the dance.
I would say that I was 95% closed, and the word love in general would have scared me. I couldn't accept it, I couldn't give it. I was completely closed off. I worked with an American healer in Ireland. He said, you will meet people and you need to live with people. And I was like, yeah. And I was coming home from work one evening, and there was a girl on the side of the street sitting on the footpath, sitting there freezing cold. So I turned around after, does she want a lift? It was Anya. We just spoke, and it was like, I could just feel myself opening up instantly. It was like a sensitive person. And she told me that she lived in a community in America. I made 3 attempts to come here. I got here and I was like, no, it's too much for me. Too much love. Couldn't handle it. From the person I was then to the person I am now, I'm completely different. I love it here very much.
Eugene is maybe one of the most cheerful people I know, with a great talent for stonework. He did some of the building in the gardens there.
I think it's important to welcome in everybody, because if you don't, you're hiding or you're denying a part of yourself.
I decided that I needed to be around people, but I didn't really know how to go about finding the right people to live with. Because everything, you never know what's going to happen. It's so spontaneous, you know. I mean, one night I could come home and we could have a singing session of 5 people, you know, and completely unplanned.
Now is the cool of the day.
There's no one type of person here. I can't think of a single person who isn't an amazing listener and also somebody who really genuinely cares.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me. Every day we have more. Every day we love
I think, to me, this is the natural way to live. The other way of having a house and a couple kids and a job and a couple cars, I was allergic to it from day one.
The summers I was there, or I should say the spring, we would bless the land. We would sing, have a whole parade around the opening corn and sunflower labyrinth. Actually, just going there the other day, there's still a maypole there, so they had a maypole there.
Here we go.
It was exactly 10 years ago that I came the first time to America, and it was around May 1st, a Saturday, when they celebrated the maple here, and I'd never heard about Touchstone. In that time, I was walking on the streets. The first time in America, I didn't know where I was going. Shaker stood at the maple and said a prayer with everyone around saying, "So a kiss to the wanderer out there who's lost on the street. May you find your way to our circle and feel safe."
You who are lost, come join our circle. Let our hearts be one. All these events that we have, they're nice and they help to remind us of the reality we're in, but they're really only games. It's every day, every moment. The real prayer really is weeding the garden, sweeping the floor, doing the dishes.
A lot of people think that that poker is luck, but especially when you're playing no limit, there's not really a whole lot of luck. The skillful players are going to win. Poker's not the beginning and the end of the world to me. I like music is a lot more important to me.
I like Joffrey, and I also am called Wandering Wolf. We actually
My radio show is Hopi Visions, and when Valley Free Radio started, I wanted to be a part of that.
103.3 with Hopi Vision.
I'm Lone Wolf, so if I was a wolf, and I am a wolf, this is what I'll do. Well, every experience with Anya is interesting.
I picked Anya up, she was hitchhiking.
I said, well, I'm going to South Deerfield, where are you going? And she goes, oh, I'm going to South Deerfield too.
A little more conversation for me to realize that she was going to see my housemate.
And so anyway, that's how Anya and I met.
And then we have another vision. Another vision? Another song for Hopi Vision.
All right. So we started doing the show together. After a couple of weeks, she was running the board and everything.
May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be healed.
People are so alone in so many ways, and we're just separated in so many ways, whereas it didn't used to be that way. People lived in tribes and everybody took care of each other. Everybody was cared about. Sure, we're living in a material world, but we're not just material beings. We're much deeper than that.
First time I saw the future clearly. The sky was fast asleep. The tide was rising.
I've actually been to Touchstone many times. I guess I always felt like I was connected to that in some way. So I didn't need to be there physically. When you own your own place, you're sort of tied to it. Yeah, so here's Fire and Water. We used to be down here. Started out without any windows, and we were down there for almost 9 years. And now they're building a bank in both of those spots.
The one thing that I like about Touchstone, which is the same thing that I liked about Fire and Water, is that it's a space for community to get together. So yeah, when I think of those two things, I think of probably community and connection.
Starr is one of my favorite musicians anywhere. I think he's just an extraordinary songwriter.
To me one night, he said, I buried dreams on a sacred site. Only when those treasures are found will I be able to lay me down to take the stone walls down to the lake.
I found this spot while I was still doing Fire and Water, but it was all just sort of like boarded up. But I thought it would be a great just spot to have a cafe or bar or performance space of some kind. So here we are.
Well, actually, Starr, Anya, and Shaker in some ways are very similar.
They're part of the faithful. They believe in beauty and I think goodness and community. For whatever reasons, they've chosen to be the ones to create those things rather than to just join into other ones. And I identify very strongly with that. Right now, I don't know if I believe that there is a God, but I act with the feeling that there is something essential in everything and in everyone, and that no one has, the power to take that away from anyone else.
You see somebody and you think that they are a certain way because of the way that they look. Like Eugene, for instance.
What's that?
He could be a really scary looking guy, but he's really nice. It's that stereotypical thing that we have to try to get over, as human beings. But I don't really get that whole human being. Like, I'm not a human being, I'm a human becoming. The spirit that exists there is the spirit that exists right here, man. Right here. And right over there. And like right inside of that person, and right inside of that person, and right inside of that dog, like in those clouds in the sky, man. Everything. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Touchstone does talk about the mystery, and that you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. If not, you wouldn't be here. And if you are part of the whole, then you are the whole, because the part is the whole. Hello, how are you? Where'd you get those pants? Well, that's one of the reasons that I'm attracted to Touchstone. They're part of my universe because they give me strength, because they believe the same things I do. We were sent to be together at this time. Isn't that right?
Everybody has up to 3 minutes to speak to the council.
Well, I want you to know, Vermont Yankee is the monster in our midst. It's even more dangerous than the war that we are fighting in Iraq, because we won't be here to stop a war in Iraq if we don't close down Vermont Yankee. I hope that you vote for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Stan Pollock from Florence. The resolution I presented to this council pinpoints several possible abuses of power by Bush and Cheney. misleading the United States Congress and the public.
It's a good psychological thing for me, because rather than sit back and do nothing, at least I feel like I'm doing something. Whether it will have any impact, whether it will be just purely symbolic, I don't know. Many years ago, when I needed to pay the rent, I started knocking on doors and asking people if they needed anything fixed. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh, you're Stan the Fix-It Man." And now I have 3 trucks and 3 people working for me, so I just pitched in just like anyone else. They always have people coming by and helping out with whatever projects are going on at the time. One day I was just riding by and I thought I'd just ride in and see what it was all about, and I was welcomed with open arms by Shaker and Anya. We've been friends ever since. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, we will be in the valley of love and delight. Here's a volunteer sunflower coming up. All of these vegetables in my garden were produced without any chemical pesticides. I think striking a balance in your life is very important. It seems to me to be a good way to operate. I feel like I have the privilege of being in a democracy, and I would like it to be a participatory democracy. I think a patriot, and all the people in this room, by coming here and participating in this democracy, that's the definition of a patriot, someone who defends and upholds our great Constitution of this country. If there's any chance for survival, I think it's going to be a result of positive thinking, people with a good vision for the future. I read Rachel Carson's book, Silent Spring, and after reading Rachel Carson's book, I closed the book and I sat down and wrote a song called Pesticide Junkie. And it goes like this. DDT is killing me, Dieldrin makes me convulse. I'd be so poor with more heptachlor, 'cause I wouldn't have a pulse. Aldrin flavored carrots is a habit I'd like to kick.
Although Hadley soil is famous for its fertility, it's been so abused, monocropped in corn, and artificial fertilizers have destroyed the soil structure. So it took over 5 years to get the soil into any kind of condition. What is this human experiment? Well, it looks sometimes as though we're going to be a well and truly failed experiment if we don't evolve a little further, faster. What were we meant to do here? What's the whole purpose? I'm not going to give you any answers. Certainly there are questions that absorb one, and one can write long, brilliant essays about it in the shower and other places, in the car maybe. Just keep pondering.
Innerhalb und außerhalb der Erde, innerhalb und außerhalb der Hügel, innerhalb und außerhalb der Berge, kehrt deine Kraft zu dir zurück. Deshalb stimmen wir in den Gesang.
I think on the large scale, I'm an optimist. That's what spiritual work is about, after all. We have to believe that there's some reason and purpose to all this. Over my desk, I have a quotation from Krishnamurti that said, To be well adjusted to a sick society is not a sign of good health. I don't do formal practice of any kind, really. The dance has been my spiritual practice for, 25 years, I guess. I meditate better on my feet than on my bottom. That comes close to bliss when you feel the total entrainment of a group energy, reaching up, not bent on any earthly purpose, but rising.
One big light as they flow into the rainbow, shining over shining light.
I practice Sendo, which is a Taoist practice from Korea. At a summer retreat, we had some people come and teach circle dancing. I really liked it. One of the people teaching that day said, you know, if you're in East Hampton, there's actually a circle dance center right in East Hampton, and it's a nationally known place. So I came back that summer and looked up Touchstone and just started in dancing. The initial breath rhythm that you practice is a 4-count inhale and a 4-count exhale. While I maintain this breathing rhythm over a period of time, I go through a series of postures. True mind, Chung Shim, true seeing, Chung Shi, true awareness, Chung Gak. The highest goal of Sendo is to figure out how you, as an individual, fit into the universe so that we can unify ourselves with the wisdom that exists in the cosmos. I think the purpose of life is for all of us to try to open our mind and body.
I mean, what if this is a sacred circle? What if we've all, as souls, like, keep coming into the same certain experiences and situations, like lifetime after lifetime, if we keep being drawn to it? I mean, Anya and Eugene just met when he was driving in Ireland, but, you know, how meant to be is that? How I came here and how everybody has come here. I work at Indigo Massage. That's how I first started knowing about the farm.
I felt a wonderful connection. I felt I was dealing with people that did understand about sacred space.
They were looking for a new place to create a studio, a healing center. They devoted 3 months of reconstructing and remodeling part of Touchstone's old garage.
Since we've moved here, we've just felt that it's been a real synergistic blend. I had a vision when I was in high school. I had no idea what kind of work I would do, but I had a vision of a beautiful outdoor setting where people could wander through gardens, and that would be just as important as my healing work. I'm really grateful to live here. This is as close to heaven on earth as I've found.
It's the whistle in the leaves and the color in the sound. La-di-da-da, la-di-da-da. La-di-da-da, la-di-da-da.
At the beginning of February, we were closed down by the building inspector and fire marshal of East Hampton.
The building inspector came out here. There was plenty of stuff to close us. It was a little unusual in that within 5 minutes of him coming here, he did say to us, almost verbatim, that it was probably going to be too expensive for us and we probably would want to sell the place. And then he said, believe me, I know people in town who'd buy it tomorrow morning for $600,000 at the drop of a hat. Interesting enough, 3 days later, someone in town did offer me that exact amount.
All these things happening at the same time, and then getting the letter right away within 1 day from the inspector saying you have to close down everything. We had to move our office. We couldn't keep the dance going. And our first thought was, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for us to go.
Take me up to the mountains, watch the wind catch my soul.
In Taoism, you have yin and yang, yin being feminine and yang being the masculine. Those are the two primal energies that create our world.
I'm an eclectic spirit, a transgender shaman from birth.
I see the essence being both masculine and feminine.
The transformation of Touchstone was synchronous with the transformation of myself. There was a major death and rebirth process happening. To hide that, to deny that, as I was semi-doing by hiding from the camera and not being forthright with the transition I too was going through with the farm. Well, the outer and the inner are the same. 4 years old, I identified as a female. I was getting very ill, was very depressed. And I'm a part of a discussion group. These fellows said to me, you know, you're not living your truth. And unless you begin to live your truth, you've got a death mechanism going on. You don't have long to live. I wrote a letter which I sent to the community at large. Virtually all of the fellows who walked the sacred path or were in the temples were transgender. Literally all of them. From old Europe to the Middle East, North Africa, Northern India. Dream walkers, that's a term I use more than shaman. I call it a transgender dream walker, and it is a very common natural phenomenon that it took me decades to get in touch with. I began to tear myself apart and be reborn. It was only natural that Touchstone would tear itself apart and then go through a death and birth cycle.
Innerhalb und außerhalb der Erde.
This is Shiva dancing the worlds in and out of existence.
Innerhalb und außerhalb der Hügel.
Creation, destruction, creation. Everything is a microcosm of something, isn't it?
Innerhalb und außerhalb der Berge kehrt deine Kraft zu dir zurück. Deshalb stimmen wir in den Gesang des Lichts mit dir ein. Deshalb sind wir Vögel der Freiheit. Deshalb sind wir Vögel der Freiheit.
That apple tree over there where the Buddhist prayer flags are hanging from, that's where Anya was sitting when the bear showed up.
The endeavor we were trying to decide about was to purchase the house next door, to be able to build 6 small houses in the front of Touchstone to create an eco-village.
Oh yes, this is where they will be, the eco-village?
Yeah, 3 down the front field and a couple out here.
All morning I'd been literally praying for the bear spirit to come as a sign that, yes, we should pursue this endeavor.
And then I went and said to Anya, you know, I can't connect. I'm just not able to connect the guidance on this.
And I said, saying a prayer for the food and a prayer for clarity. And just as I was about to start to eat, I saw a black bear. He saw me and he went very slow. He just kind of looked at me and showed his teeth. And he walked all the way to the forest, and then he turned around one more time and looked at me and then disappeared into the woods.
In a matter of a day, a lawyer in town who had never even been here volunteered her services. We had an architect and structural engineer volunteer their services. And then hundreds and hundreds of emails to us, and cards and letters and gifts saying how important it was that a place like this exists in the world for them.
One or 200 people wrote letters to the mayor, the building inspector, and to the town council what Touchstone means to them. So that really was a message for us. Okay, we will try to, to keep Touchstone alive.
Hummingbird, bear, and eagle, all have had their say. And I wrote this song after I read the Touchstone brochure. I think it says, hummingbird, bear, and eagle, all have had their say. And now, in the light of Touchstone being shut down and all the buildings having to be brought up to code, and then the new property next door having been purchased, it truly does seem as though there is a Touchstone angel that actually is overseeing a renovation project at this very moment.
It took a good year to go through the tearing apart and rebuilding.
There were villages where the dance never ended for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, where there was always somebody dancing and holding the space.
We know that wherever there was a village, a sacred dance went on as long as the village survived. At the age of 9, I started drawing maps of communities that were full of artists and hermits and dancing places and theater places.
So yeah, it would be a duplex facing south. Each house will be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400 square feet. I'm just looking forward to have things settled a little more, to have the houses built, and then from hopefully creating the village, having a little money to open up the center again, which has been closed for 1.5 years, and that has been very hard on the farm. And so much support has been there from the community. So many people have been helping us from all over the world.
This is a benefit for Touchstone tonight, and we just all really felt supportive for Touchstone and things that they're going through, which they'll talk about when they come up. And I've been there and spent time there. Really felt grateful for their sustaining of the truth and sacredness.
And thank you so much for offering us for Touchstone. It's an amazing gift.
I will not lay down. I'll just pick up a guitar, maybe this one and strum till the nighttime washes over me. And only then will I know that I am truly.
I guess I'll call your other phone too, but we got the approval tonight, so that's it.
Guess what?
It got approved?
Yes!
Oh no!
Hey Debbie, it's Anya. That we did get the approval, which is amazing.
I'm so glad to know, because for a year I've been living like, are we going to lose everything? This is the day, and the Spring Peepers are singing the first time tonight. And the coyotes were howling just now.
We never would have dared to jump and go to get the property next door, and we wouldn't be co-creating the Eco Village if the building inspector hadn't come and enticed us into it.
Both tragedy and blessing are the same thing. It's just how you receive it.
Touchstone has been being resurrected. It would be a terrible loss. It's a kind of spiritual home in this area.
We've been going through the death, really, of letting go of a lot, but a lot has been growing.
It's an exemplar, a model for what life should be like on this planet, in this valley.
You see yourself participating in things like this, but you're not doing it. It's being done, and you are humbled to be helped to be its agent.
You know, the dance doesn't end on the platform. Now you go into the real dance, which is in the grocery store when you buy something, or on the street when you see the beggar, or just in your daily life. You know, this is the real world.
Strange and troubled times, so full of hope and so full of fear, with change rushing in like a storm. We've gone so far, we've come so near, yet still there are people hungry, still the homeless and the trodden down, still those who have more than they need, to share the common ground. But I believe that every evil plan must fail, and I believe that justice will prevail, and I believe that it will come to pass, and I that the truth will come at last. The oppressor rules the world with reckless lust and violent greed, false shepherds who ravage their sheep, who starve their flocks while themselves they feed, who glorify all wickedness, whose lying tongues have scorched the earth, who grind the face of the poor, persecuting those of humble birth. But I believe that every evil plan must fail, and I believe that justice will prevail, and I believe that it will come to pass, and I believe that the truth will come at last. turn? When will our children come in from the rain? How long will these flames around us burn in the tumult and confusion? We roll the wheel of ages round while trumpets blare over the fields. There's still so many who don't hear the sound, but I believe that every evil plan must fail, and I believe that justice will free